Hi, it's Ariel with Auto City in El Cajon, San Diego's award-winning used car dealership. Behind me is a 2018 Volvo V60 Cross Country in osmium gray metallic with a two-tone black and white interior. This car has just over 16,000 miles. When I first started working here, the lot at Auto City was a barren wasteland, completely devoid of anything Swedish. But fortunately, that's all changed now, and we are quite lousy with Volvos. I'm not going to complain about that. I absolutely love Volvos. And this particular V60 being the Cross Country Edition means it has some sport utility accoutrement, elevated ground clearance, all-wheel drive, etc. Not only that, it's just a sight to behold and an absolute blast to drive. Let's take a look now. Left over from the days where the key fob would have to be inserted into the dash to start it. Now I guess you just have a convenient key fob holder. Cool. This seldom celebrated Swedish sleeper of a sport utility wagon is powered by the same T5 driveline as the last V60 I filmed. You can watch that video by clicking the link in the upper right corner, by which I mean a 2-liter 4-cylinder, very turbocharged engine paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission. It delivers 240 horsepower, 258 torques, and gets 30 miles to the gallon highway. Down from the previous V60's 37 highway, but there's a good reason for that. This cross-country edition of the V60 is all-wheel drive, which does use more gas. Additionally, it sports a ground clearance of 7.9 inches, nearly 3 more inches than the standard V60, which means you can reach many a variety of voluminous vertex in this V-Cool V60 Volvo Wagon. I really like these. That's apparent from the last few I've driven. And this one being an XC model, a cross-country V60. It has higher ground clearance. It has all-wheel drive. It's a little beefier as far as, you know, off-road clad goes. But it still pulls like a turbo Volvo. Oh yeah, that's good. You know, the thing about driving a car so refined is that even though it's kind of a sport utility wagon, it's so well refined. I mean, it really does drive smooth and feels more like a luxury car than a sport utility vehicle. Volvos are luxury cars, understated albeit. They're like the luxury car market's best kept secret. And I really have a soft spot for the Volvo brand. Now, unfortunately, sometime in the mid-90s, after Ford purchased Volvo, they stopped being rear-wheel drive and became front-wheel drive, which, as a car enthusiast, was a heartbreaking moment. This one, however, is all-wheel drive, which is, you know, the best of both worlds, and it doesn't feel like a front-wheel drive car. It really handles itself well, and it has tremendously confident grip. Ooh. This car is also quite beefy. Refined, yet beefy. V-Fun. I like it V-much. Well, there are a few benefits to driving a sport utility wagon as opposed to a crossover or standard SUV. Now, in case you're not familiar with that term, sport utility wagon, it refers to a station wagon, usually with higher ground clearance, all-wheel drive, things like that. The Subaru Outback, the Audi Allroad, and this, the Volvo Cross Country V60. The most obvious benefit being it's still a car as opposed to a tall SUV, which means it has a lower center of gravity and more stability. Even with the raised stance, the higher ground clearance, it still handles corners much better and is a little more stable in some harrowing situations. Another benefit to the Cross Country Edition is that it's pretty high up on the trim level food chain. This thing is pretty well fully loaded, including features like two-toned leather upholstery, which if I'm honest I could do without, but the adjustable bolsters make up for the two-tone tackiness. Like the other Volvos, it strikes the balance between elegant architectural simplicity, and modern high-tech creature comforts. It has proximity door locks, satellite navigation, dual-zone climate control, and the usual array of Volvo quirks. The rear seat is also spacious, with neat little air vents coming off the B-pillars. And round back, your 28 cubic feet of cargo features a doggy net with extra storage. Another benefit to the Sport Utility Wagon, and this might be a trick of the eye, but you actually have more cargo capacity in a wagon than you do in an SUV, unless you're getting a large full-size or bigger mid-size SUV. But compared to compact SUVs like the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Subaru Forester, you actually have more practical cargo capacity in a wagon. The SUVs might be taller, you might have more cargo height, but how often are you stacking things on top of each other? No, you want to spread them out, and wagons do tend to have larger trunks than small SUVs. Then of course there's the gas mileage. Smaller vehicles with a lower center of gravity means you're not eating up as much gas. So put all those things together and you have a pretty practical vehicle if you are a sport utility enthusiast. Good turning circle, good turning circle. Ooh, I just caught like a glimpse of the reflection in this car in some store windows as I was making a U-turn, and it's sexy. It's a sexy car. It's got a great feel to it. It's got great pickup. It's beef. I've said it's beefy before, but I'll say it again because it really is kind of fun to accelerate in this car. It does have a little bit of an enthusiast driver's car approach to acceleration, and then once of course you're going, that's when it becomes more smooth and refined. Aside from all the stuff that makes it a cross-country V60, it's just as nice, just as good looking, just as comfortable, just as sexy as the other V60. It really is a nice car. I'm really a big fan of Volvos, and I'm a big fan of this car. And if I were to get another Sport Utility Wagon, I used to own an Outback and I loved it. If I were to get another one, this would be way high at the top of my choices, because I love Volvos. I love the way this car looks and drives, and I think it's got enough ground clearance that whatever situations I get myself into, this car is perfectly sufficient. If you'd like to come take a look at this sweet, sexy Swedish Sport Utility Wagon or any other cars we have in our award-winning lot, come see us in the El Cajon section of San Diego or check us out online at GoAutoCity.com. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep driving. Auto City.